But I never ordered that hit on your parents.
So who did?
You can't trust anyone in Gotham. Least of all those you call friend. Your parents learned that.
No! Fuck! I knew it!
They're waiting for you in hell!
Fuck!
Son number
Oh, my wiener!
You're watching the Weekly Wednesday Wassup, the section of my channel where I tell you everything that happened in 1 week, or as much as I can remember. Now, forewarning here, I'm gonna just do this in one take. I was gonna try and clean it up, polish it, what have you not, but this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen, about the Weekly Wednesday Wassup. If I start to get a little too constructive and a little too edited, I feel like that I tend to often end up editing myself, censoring myself, and that's something that I generally never really want to do with you guys. You guys know me. I have been around for quite some time, and this channel has been around for quite some time. This has become quite the outlet for a lot of venting, stressing, sometimes, but there's always a point that I'm always trying to make, usually. A lot of you know that I grew up in Los Angeles, and a lot of my mentors are radio host Tom Likas, Rick Dees, Casey Kasem. These are the people that I've grown up with. Some of them I've actually worked for from time to time. And this is kind of the inspiration that I've always wanted to bring to my channel. That being said, it's also 4 a.m. in the morning, and I have been drinking. I got a little too distracted. I was supposed to record the Weekly Wednesday Wassup hours ago, but I was actually caught up in watching Breaking Bad. And actually, not Breaking Bad, but I was watching Better Call Saul, and the episodes are just so damn good. I'm actually kind of mad at myself for not following through on the show. Like, at least with Daredevil, I know I need to record it for Riff, so it's held me back for a long time in terms of recording it. In fact, I might just end up just watching, like, there's been too much of a stress of getting the reaction recorded for a good amount of people. I still appreciate the people that watch it, but I have noticed, especially with Netflix, it's really hindered my ability to actually enjoy shows sometimes, because I want to make sure that I can show my reaction to a certain situation. But I can't just, for example, with Better Call Saul, I was just watching it like in little takes. I watched a little bit of 15 minutes. Like, overall, it took me about an hour and a half to watch the show, but I get a few minutes in. Every once in a while I pause, I answer a phone call. Like, I'm always sending messages and always conducting business deals and what have you not, and it's very hard for me to actually stop and get something in one take, which is the problem with Rift TV that I have personally. That it's my own situation, that it's something. I can't really watch too many TV shows that particular way, unless I'm going to edit them down. Even like something like Flash, or sometimes Game of Thrones. I generally am texting or doing something else, or something I need to do, because especially the time that I'm watching something, it's the middle of the day. It's not nighttime, so there's things that are going on in my life that need to be handled and such. But with Flash and some of the other shows, it's a lot of that stuff is edited out, so it's okay to do. But it's very rude if I do that during a Rift TV reaction and such. Moving on, So I was watching Better Call Saul, and then I was watching Bunny Girl actually streaming online, and it was very impressive what she was doing on the stream, and I can totally see why people really enjoy watching her. And there's a word. Your Japanese word for today, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be moe. It's called moe, M-O-E with an apostrophe there, moe. And what that is, moe is like, I think only guys can really feel this situation. Women have a different appeal to this, but moe is just a feeling that a woman, um, it's not necessarily cute and it's not necessarily sexy. It's something right in between that where they do something, they have an appeal, they do something, they are really nice, or they make a certain sound, or just something that kind of gives this weird like irk inside of you. Like it's nothing sexual and it's nothing like perverted. It's just like, oh my god, that's so cool. Like, or oh my god, like, and you know, they capitalize on this a lot in Japan with idols like AKB48 and such, but it's called moe. Um, and I think that's the appeal of, in my opinion, that's the appeal of Bunny Girl, is the fact that she cares so much about her friends, her fans, and such. And every time they make a donation or something on her Twitch stream, she's ecstatic. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the number, the amount of the donation. Uh, the fact that just somebody does it makes her really excited. I watched her fall out of her chair over, I think it was like $2 or something like that. And to be quite honest, it's never happened. Well, it's happened to me. It's happened to me, but I think it's a little different because people have donated. Usually, my donations are around $10 to $25 or so, and it's a little different for me because I don't have like the hype music. I don't have that system set up just yet, and I'm pushing really hard to get to that. But when I see it, I'm like, oh my god! Like, but I can't give that cuteness feeling, I guess. What the hell? Sorry, somebody just texted me. Oh, 4 a.m. in the morning. I got like, oh my god, guys! I totally wish I could tell you who just texted me and what they text me. Oh, okay, they're in California. Okay. So, what I wanted to tell you guys is I got a text right now from the godfather of J vlogging, and that's Victor. The godfather of J vlogging, Victor. Give me a break, man. Give me a flake, man. And like, he texts me right now. He was like, "I'm here with Charla," and I didn't know he was in California. So what I thought was he's like, Charla's right next to him, 4 a.m. in the morning or something like that, and I didn't know how to take that. So, anyways, it was very weird to me to just get that so late in the night and such. You guys understand what I'm saying. Let's move on to another topic here. Oh, and so I got the Elgato system going on right now. I'm still working on it, trying to get it all set up and such, but we tried it a little bit. Dan the Cyberman's been trying to help me out, get it all set up. It's still not to the point where I can really give you guys the show, like what I really want to do, but it's getting there step by step. We practiced it a little bit, but having a big problem with OBS through my Mac, it may not be able to use it. It may not be able to use it, but the face camera part, that's the part that's not working right now. So um, um, or the OBS can't actually, the Elgato can't run through OBS on my Mac right now for whatever reason. So using the actual capture software, the actual direct capture software, everything seems to be working except for the fact that the camera doesn't work, and I can't figure that out. The stream live or something like that. I did just go ahead and update my OS to the latest one. I forgot what it's called. I think it starts with an E or something like that. But I went ahead and I updated it to the latest one, and which is kind of cool because Siri's actually on the computer now. I don't know exactly how it works, but Siri's on the computer. So I'm gonna play around with it a little bit tomorrow and see what's up. We got a big day going on tomorrow. We got a bunch of guys coming over, and we're gonna be filming a particular show that I've always wanted to do. But as you guys have probably understood within the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of stress. I've been thinking about quitting YouTube for quite some time, but I'm over that now, and I realize that more and more I just need to, like, one of the reasons I have been so frustrated is the fact that the reaction videos, the reaction audience has changed a lot. Excuse me. The reaction audience has changed, and for better or worse, it's gotten bigger, but the expectation of the fans is completely different. So the expectation of what the fans of what they think a reaction video is completely different from where it used to be. Just a mutual and this is generally coming from my opinion. So I'm not trying to put down anybody or some sense like that. I'm just, like I put in my Birth of the Reaction Verse type of video that I made, I'm trying to give you my opinion, my appeal, my situation of how everything had started, and the kind of community that I came up with in terms of the reaction videos and such. As it always, in my sense, it had started with fans of a certain product, fans of certain something like that. Not necessarily just watching TV. You're actually with a fan of an actual product or a show, and you were kind of sharing the mutual admiration for a show, like you wanted to know. Even this thing that you're watching right now, the Batman video game, the reason people are tuning in, for the most part, the majority of the people tuning in, or when they click on the video, is they enjoy the game themselves, and they enjoy Batman stuff too, and they want to see what a fellow Bat fan such as myself would respond to the game, how he's gonna interact with the game. And every once in a while, you'll still be a fan of the actual host and be like, oh, what's this, something new, something different, like that, and that's fine. But that's kind of where my views on where reaction videos first began. But it's changed a lot. And I was going to get into this a little bit more in terms of for the Weekly Wednesday Wassup, but considering the time of it's 4:20 in the morning, ironically, it's probably better to leave that issue to decide when I can talk about it a little more clear-minded. But the main thing is, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that change is always evident. And if you feel that that particular audience is getting smaller and smaller every day, or that particular world is getting smaller and smaller, you got to always be able to keep up and change with what's evident. If it's not there anymore, and the idea of what a reaction video is nowadays changes, then it's better for you to change, adapt to something that works for you and such. And I feel that there will always be the fan videos, the actual being fans of something, knowing prior knowledge, at least prior knowledge about something. I feel that it'll always be there. It's just that it keeps changing into different things, basically. And as far as I'm concerned, with my own channel, I I think I can still bring that same appeal, still bring that same fan-gasm that the studios love, the fellow fans love, still bring that same appeal, but just every once in a while we'll just have to change it up just a little bit to make sure everything is still easy greasy and mutual. So anyways, just to let you know, I'm not giving up on reaction videos. It's just that I need to figure out a better way to present myself and present my reactions to a different sort of crowd. I mean, it's fine for the general crowd, or these newer fans of reaction videos, to still be interested in my videos. That's great. It's just that I do want to be able to present to them and let them know that yes, my videos will probably not be 5 minutes. Most of my videos will probably be around the average 10 to 15 minutes, because that's usually because something that I'm going to react to, I know what the hell I'm talking about in terms of I know I'm an actual fan of something, and I want to make sure. I think that that's the appeal of this channel. I don't want to get too far from that, because you start to look unaware or looking a little unfamiliar, basically, and that leads to a sort of different perspective, that people start comparing you with people you don't want to be compared with, and because people start thinking that you're that type of person or so. But that's the thing, I would, you were never that type of person. You were always a different type of character, or whatever the case may be. I know it sounds a little bit confusing, so I'm gonna try to kick back and not really explain too much of what I'm trying to say right now. But that's why I don't. But you know, I don't worry too much, and I'm not actually that upset over anybody that's been leaving in the last couple of days. Actually, if anything, it makes me just a little, it makes me a bit happy. And the reason I'll say that is because it's kind of a filter. Like, I wasn't really sure how I was going to be able to address this situation anyways. And as time goes by, like, this is a very quick way to actually sort of get those that really weren't into my channel for me out really quickly, like that, if that makes sense, opposed to the 6 months to year it was going to take. Like, and we were already seeing it, because I was already putting signs in of things I was doing. But every once in a while I would get a comment that would be like, oh, this channel's changed so much, or oh, you're not funny anymore, Akasan. But I'm not supposed to be funny. Who the fuck told you I was supposed to be a funny motherfucking entertainer? What, because I'm black, like, or partially black and such? That's never been this situation, but people made these assumptions, making stereotypes based on what was popular out there. So overall, I am very happy with the way things have sort of been going down. Of course, it probably could have, I'm sure, some form or fashion, there were probably better ways, but it's a little better, because in terms of this kind of mass exodus of people, because those people weren't really there, weren't like real fans. They were just, they were subscribers, people that maybe come in every once in a while and see what's up, but not really people that would be like, okay, well, I really like Akasan, so let me hear what he has to say first, and then really, it was more, I wouldn't say bandwaggers, but it's just people that wouldn't really get where I'm coming from, either because they're too new to the channel, or they just can't understand, they can't see the logic behind what's going on. And again, with this mass exodus, it's a little easier to kind of clear house and be like, okay, well, we know what he's been doing, the people that are still around. And the one thing it really showed me is that people really, the Red Dreaded Nation, will really when things get kind of rough, and I know I can be very difficult sometimes, especially with my opinions on certain things, and it sometimes looks like I come off negative because I'm not so crazy about certain things, but put that all aside, and people will fucking defend me to the end of the line, which really was heartwarming seeing the last couple of days, just seeing how many people would be like, look, I don't always agree with your opinion, Akasan, but I will fucking defend you if I see you're getting slammed or what's the other word? Slam? No, it's not slam. Scandaled? No. I forgot the word that I'm looking for, basically, but kind of kind of witch hunt type of idea or whatever, like that. And a lot of people were really quick to jump on some of the fallacies that might have been in the roast or the rant and such. And I appreciate the fact that those older older fans, really came in and started spitting some facts and really trying to kind of just show, defend me and such. And I got a lot of messages, which I also appreciate as well. A lot of private messages from fellow YouTubers, fellow reactors, showing their support. And even in that, and I'll briefly touch upon that, is the fact that even in that, there were a lot of people that were really hot and really angry with the way that that situation went down, and very disappointed in the fact that that the rant roast was even made. But I also felt that I needed to also explain that in some sense it's an understandable reason why I'm Dante made that particular video, and that the only thing that that I can do out of this is make a good situation out of it, because I was very appreciative of it. It showed me a certain sort of idea that I'm dealing with, or a certain sort of mentality that I have of especially with holding grudges and fighting so hard to keep something pure, something nice, something old school, like the fan type reactions, that I did never realize that it had already changed. And technically speaking, what the funniest thing about this is that if all it took was one comment from, I believe it was R. Dizzy, to really get my mind to start making me change. All it took was one comment after that to realize. And had it's really fun. I was really wondering about this today. Had another week gone by or so, I would have moved on probably. I am really wondering about that. Had another week gone by, would I have made the full realization that, okay, maybe it is time for the quote unquote opportunist reactors to go ahead and take advantage of the opportunity. I may not agree with it 100%, but I can certainly see, with the way the system is set up, why I guess go for it. And it really isn't my problem anymore, because like I said, I made that realization later that it'll never go back to being kind of like more legit legalized type of stuff. And all I can do is just focus on my own channel and showcasing, letting people know that I got the permissions for this. Don't worry, the studio made all the money off of this channel or off of this video, or I got permission, like that. I think that's the best way I can move forward, and that's what I tried to explain to the other people that were really disappointed in Dante, or showed like they were hot about it. I just tried to explain to them, maybe, well, that's what I'm gonna do with my channel. That's what I'm gonna do with my channel, and that's what I didn't directly say it like that, but I was hoping, I guess I was assuming that maybe that's what maybe they need to do as well, instead of being so angry about reactionists or opportunist reactors or whatever. It's better to just try to just stabilize yourself. It reminds me a lot about the Dark Knight trilogy, where it's just like we were trying to be decent men in an indecent world or in a cruel world, and then the Dark Knight Rises, it's like, you know, how I forgot the full quote, but it was like something about it. How many years can you go without when dealing in the grime until you end up getting your hands dirty as well. So, and that's not to say, again, I'm not saying that everybody that just reacts to anything and everything is dirty. I'm not saying that at all. What I suppose that I'm saying is just that if you're doing things legally, then maybe instead of being like holding in resentment and being upset about and lashing out, because that it doesn't change, it's not going to change anything. I guess the best thing is to more positively or passively showcase the fact to your audience that you're trying to play by the rules and you have contracts and you got the permission, things like that. And maybe it's better, maybe better that way. Because in anything else, if you're getting mad, I think if you're getting mad at people that are blowing up to reacting to anything and everything, then that part is just jealousy, a bit. I suppose jealousy or envy. I suppose. I guess that's what it is. I don't know. I don't feel that way about it. My whole frustration was in terms of something else, but and losing something special and then being categorized with other people. But yeah, maybe I promised I wouldn't get too deep on this, but yeah. Moving on, another sort of realization I had, self-realization, is the fact that I realized it's been almost 1 year now since I left my kids, my students, and my particularly Goku and Vegeta, and I don't want to get into it too much right now because I watched one of my older videos from a year ago and was tearing up so bad last night, crying like a goddamn baby. But I started realizing that it's been almost a year, or it's been over a year since the big announcement, and there's been a lot of emotional baggage and remembrances that I've been carrying with me nowadays, and for the last couple of weeks. On top of that, my idol, or one of my inspirations for even doing YouTube, I met him, and meeting all the J vloggers recently also reminded me about the other stuff that I do once in a while, once a week, twice a week, or something like that, but it could just be just more. But I got caught up in doing something, the reaction game, maybe the view chasing, maybe a little too much, admittedly. But you know, it's good inspiration. At least YouTube gave me a book a long time ago to write my ideas down, and I finally started using them, and I have so many ideas to bring to the table now. And as I mentioned earlier, later today we'll be doing that. A bunch of people are going to be coming over here. We'll start filming some stuff, and I think those that can at least if let me just put it this way: if you've lasted this long to this video, then you're definitely one of those people that will sit around and watch my other stuff and watch the type of videos that I make. This is that type of, you know, small little rant, these rants that I like to do, and they're not always going to be crazy, funny, positive. They're not always going to be negative, and usually they're just right in between, because that is the Weekly Wednesday Wassup. There's a really great video I'd also recommend you guys watch by Andre, the Black Nerd. I put it on my Twitter, I put it on my Instagram. Like, I was listening to it, and he's been in the YouTube thing longer than I have. No. Almost as long as I have. He's had an account, but he's been putting out videos much longer than I have, for about 9 years now. And I think everything that he had to say was even fully, almost exactly the same as what I wanted to say, but just better. And listening to him explain certain things about the way YouTube has changed and how the trends come and go, and how to always challenge yourself in your channel and be careful about just doing one certain thing, it made a lot of sense to me, and it was really good to hear his voice and hear him talk about that as well. I could definitely respect where he was coming from. Speaking of which, there's actually been another video that was made where people were venting their frustrations at YouTubers that are getting big egos and things like that, and not, forgetting their fans or forgetting their older fans. I feel I've done a good job remembering my older fans. Alan, if you guys remember Alan Moore from years ago, I always remember how all of the people in J-vlogging had always supported me. And so I feel like I always do a pretty good job replying to comments and such, and that are mature and balanced and things like that. But there's a point I was going to make here. Is it is a certain thing about balancing your time management as well. You can't reply to everyone. I know Tyrone goes through the same problem, and sometimes people complain about him not having any interaction with his fans and such. But I think he does it to the max of what he can do all the time. A lot of people do the Omegle meetups early on, but when it gets out of control, or when it gets too big, when you do get too big, you can't do them as much anymore. And I understand exactly why, because it gets a little too crazy, especially because bigger YouTubers, generally their audience gets bigger because younger kids start logging in more, and it just catches like wildfire. So it gets a little weird, even with my own channel. When I do my videos at a certain time of day, I notice that the comments are really strange and very rude sometimes, and I especially with you now, I can kind of tell. I'm like, there's a lot of kids on here like that, and you gotta balance these two things out to make sure you're still keeping true to the kind of channel you want to make, but also making sure your audience stays the way you want them to stay. I suppose, like, I don't want to say mature, because that's the kind of channel I like to be, but what I mean, like, for example, if you compare something like to Rice Gum, right? He knows his audience. He knows the kind of audience he has, and he doesn't shy away from that sort of behavior, because it helps with his channel. All right, and lastly, because it's getting kind of long, and I realize it's like 5 a.m. in the morning. It's like a 30-minute video. My bad, guys. But I just always want to talk to you guys. I want to talk and rant with you guys sometimes. Unscripted, untapped. I remember when I used to edit Weekly Wednesday Wassup sometimes, and people were like, "Can you stop editing yourself? Like, I don't like the fact that you write everything down beforehand. They just want to see me free flow." Ariana, I think your name, Ariana H. I promised you, I know I told you that I was gonna show you guys what I got Bae, the Joker book, if she liked the book or not, and I thought about it, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to put it in this video. Let me figure out another way to drop it in another video at some point in time. Okay, guys, like, share, subscribe, especially nowadays. I appreciate everything that you guys do for me, and I'm gonna give it back to you guys tenfold. Okay, you guys take care of yourselves, and I will let you guys know what's up next week. Peace.
Why she did this.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow.